guys, it's your girl Tiff. Welcome to the Change Talk YouTube channel, the official YouTube channel of Awakening Change Counseling Services. Join us here every Thursday night at 9 p.m. where we'll talk about a host of topics related to behavioral health, leadership, and self-care. Don't forget to hit the button to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends and followers. I'll see you guys soon. Hello, 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 hello. It is not Thursday night. It is not Thursday night by any stretch, but we're here for another episode of Change Talk. Last week we had some technical difficulties, a number of technical difficulties. As a friend of mine says, life be lifing. And so we had some life issues and some technical issues. And so I did not want us to miss out on this episode. And so Mary, who's our special guest, was free tonight. And so we decided just to jump on and make it do what it do, right? So, hey, Doc. So glad you could join me. So if you are unlike Doc and you happen to be joining for the first time, my name is Dr. Tiffany Jenkins. I'm the founder and CEO of Awakening Change Counseling Services. And typically on Thursday nights, I jump on and bring some commentary about things that I am qualified to talk about based on my clinical experience as a licensed professional counselor. And then from time to time, I like to bring on some friends of mine who have some really cool stories or involved in some cool projects, so that they can share the platform and their information and knowledge and experiences as well. And over the past few weeks, we've been doing something called the Survivor Series. And tonight is kind of a continuation of that. And I'm so very, very happy to have with me tonight someone who is a survivor, who is my sister in writing, Miss Mary Gibson. Let me pull her up. I lost her for a minute, y'all. There she is. All right. Hey, Booski.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, so I know you, but I need you to tell the people who you are.
I'm Mary Gibson.
And
I'm Tiffany's sister in writing, her classmate. I wrote a book called A Dance with Grief.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What
I own
else?
I own a business, a therapy referral service. It's
Yeah.
called THRU It.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to be starting a blog soon called Dear Kingdom Wives.
Yes, yes. All the
I
things.
work
All
a
the
job.
things.
I'm a dispatcher for Baton Rouge Police. So what else? I'm a mom of two.
Okay, I was waiting for that part. I was like, how is
They
this
in
so
there.
far down?
They in there, Mom and it is it's a hood, bro.
It is. It is.
So I'm a mom of two amazing kids, and I'm a widow of 3 years. 3 years, September 7th.
Okay. Okay. And that is kind
Okay.
of one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on to talk about all of that. Like, you are, to me, what makes you a survivor is that despite the tragedy that you've lived through, and I'll let you share a little bit about that,
Okay.
you are still like insanely funny. You have not lost your sense of humor. You are like, it's always like a party. When Mary comes in the room,
Thank you.
it's always a party. So tell a little bit about, don't tell it all because we want folks to go buy the book, and we're going to talk about the book a little bit later. She's like, product placement. We're going to
You know
talk
what
about the
I'm
book
saying?
a little bit later, but tell a little bit about your story.
Uh, well, I was a wife of 13 years, and we'd been together 18 years. Um, Typical wife, mom. I worked. My husband was an entrepreneur. He was a barber. So I helped him manage his shop. Worked, took care of my kids. They were in dance, football, all that stuff. Just a regular woman. out here getting it how I live in these people's streets.
I
you
can't
know,
with you.
I'm gonna be me.
Yes.
So still very active in my community, very active in church, very outgoing, not as outspoken as I am now, but shout out to therapy and just living life. And then life happened, like you said, life be happening. So life happened and sent me in a whirlwind,
Hmm.
and I had to shake back. And I shook back, baby, with a book.
With a whole book. A,
Plug.
a whole book. So what made you decide to say, I'm ready to put this in a book? I'm ready for this to be kind of like public information. Like what was it that made you decide, okay, this is what I want to do right now?
Well, for me, I'm a person that has to process and heal to a certain degree before I can talk about something.
Mhm.
And so when I started this process to write this book, I had gotten to a place in my process where I had healed quite a bit. And I'm able to talk about it because I've processed it and share what helped me may help you. So when I'm
Mhm.
strengthened, I'll try to strengthen you.
Mhm.
And that's where it came from, just detailing my journey. And I'm a journaler, so I was able to pull some stuff from that too.
Did you always know you wanted to write a book? Was this like always
No,
in your so she's like, "No."
no,
So how did that happen?
I don't know. I knew I wanted to do something,
Mhm.
but I had so much in me, so much info to get out. And that's where it was like, I think I should write a book.
Mm.
I think I'm
Okay.
gonna write a book.
Okay.
I've always been told I'm a good writer, always been told that I write a lot anyway, but I decided to do it something for me to
Okay.
help somebody else.
So how was that process? How was um the writing process for you just in general?
You know what the process was like. You was with me in class.
Ma'am,
I was
I'm
all
not the
through the
I'm
place.
not the only person you talking to here.
Touche. You're right. Um, the process was hard. So I had to dig deep. I had to go back into places where I didn't necessarily want to go back into and tap into those feelings and those emotions to write certain chapters. Because in the book, I talk about grief from the onset all the way to current
Mhm.
and everything in between. So I had to dig deep. It was hard. Sometimes I had to put it down and walk away for a few days.
Mhm.
Sometimes I had to use my tools and tips that I've learned in therapy to just pull me through it, help me pull it together because there was no way I was not gonna complete what I had started.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
And
yeah.
you talk a lot, like we follow each other on Insta and all that other kind of stuff. You are probably one of the most vocal people outside of therapists and people who do this for a living for therapy. And for our community, that's not usually something you see. So, how
Mhm.
did you what made you so willing, I guess, to share that part of you and that part of your journey with like all of the interwebs? Like what was it that made you so like down to the snacks? Like
Mhm.
you take little shots of like all of it and share even on days when you haven't had a really good day in therapy, when it was
Yeah.
really hard. You share that. You share your wins about how, you had a really great session and you feel a lot lighter. How did you get to that place in when you're part of a community who does not really open up about that stuff?
It was so I didn't realize that it was so stigmatized until I started talking about it.
Mm,
And I was just sharing on my personal page what I was dealing with.
mhm,
And then people started reaching out to me, just with questions, just with, me too, or how do you do this, that, or the third, or can you help me find a therapist? And so many people reached out to me for therapy. That is how Live Through It began.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, geez, maybe I got something here.
So
But I share because I'm trying to break down those stigmas. I'm trying to eliminate the stigma, especially in my community, of just mental health. It's okay to be mentally healthy. We go to the
mm,
doctor when we're not physically healthy. It's okay to go to the doctor when it's okay to go for checkups. You don't have
mm,
to be sick to go
mm-hmm.
to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people felt like I was just going for grief. And so I made sure to share that I wish it was something that I had done years before. I
Mm-hmm.
should have been in therapy.
Yeah, you
My
need a
daughter
little something,
was
something. You need a little something, something. So that was your introduction to therapy was through your grief
true.
counseling?
Yes. And it was important to me to heal the right way. I didn't want to try to deflect with alcohol, drugs, sex, any of those. I didn't want to self heal. I kind of wanted to heal the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to a point where I remember I felt like I was losing me. And I
Mm,
was like, okay, if I don't grab a hold of myself right now, I may not be able to come back.
mm-hmm.
I need to talk to somebody. And that's where it came from. Maybe about a week or two after the funeral, I started therapy.
Oh, so immediately.
Yeah.
And that, you know what, that's interesting because most people in that first 30 to 60 days are still dealing with the business of everything
Yeah.
and don't even like come up for air. So the fact that you had the presence of mind to know, wait a minute, hold up, something's not right. Let me get some help.
Yeah.
How difficult was it for you to find a therapist that you could connect with?
It was fairly difficult. And
You said that's so happy and bright. It was
I didn't
fairly
realize
difficult.
how hard it was to find somebody. It was frustrating.
Uh-huh.
And I remember going through one person, and first it was hard for me to get in with her. And then when I got with her, she just wasn't a good fit for me. And so I'm like, I wasted all this time trying to find you, lady, and this ain't working. And I
Mhm.
remember um, calling people, not being able to get in touch with people, emailing people. And I made a post on Facebook, and I said, listen, I got to get back to me, because I'm typically like an upbeat, optimistic, happy person, and I could just feel depression. I didn't know that it was depression at the time, but it
Mhm.
was depression, and it was so heavy. I couldn't get back to my happy place.
Mhm.
And so I made that post, and I said, does anybody know any therapists, that you could recommend? And my Facebook friends started recommending people. And I had a cousin that called me, and she said, hey, this is somebody that I've talked to once. You can try her out. And I tried her out, and she was perfect. And I'm still there.
You see, and I think it's important that people understand that just because you make the decision to go to therapy doesn't necessarily mean everything's gonna like ta-da just like
Yes.
fall in place. There's still, a little bit of legwork to do. Tell
Yes.
me how, because as a result of all of this, you've started your own foundation that connects people, Live Through It, connects people with a therapist and all of that. How do you help people take some of this, I don't know, guesswork, I guess, out of finding a therapist?
I do the legwork. So I'll ask around for you.
Mhm.
I'll go to different forums. I will find, what therapists are available, what therapists are taking patients. So you won't even have to go through everything that I went through trying
Mhm.
to just find someone. I'll do that for you. And I'll notify them about you. I'll notify you about them. I just bridge the gap.
Mhm.
I
You a
just hope it's not.
matchmaker.
Yes.
The therapy matchmaker.
Yes. That's exactly what I am. And I do it because I don't want you to stop. A lot of people stop in the process, like they get frustrated. Like I'm already depressed. I already got anxiety. I don't have time to be trying to find no therapist.
Mhm.
I'll do that for you. You just go.
Mhm. Mhm. And I
So
think that's so necessary, especially when, like, when we're talking about stigma, there's
yes,
already a stigma. So if I get the courage up to
yes,
actually do this and I keep hearing no or not hearing anything in some cases because
yes,
people just don't return
yes,
phone calls and whatnot, it starts kind of like weighing on you and it's very easy to just kind of go deeper in that hole instead of
yes.
reaching out. What are what are some of the what's from the therapist perspective, because I know folks are happy about this,
Yes.
about you doing this. What if the therapists that you've been reaching out to have, what have they had to say about this new project?
Well, once they realize that there's no catch, there's no gimmick. Like I'm literally just trying to find people therapists. Like, are you taking clients? That's like all I want to know. Once they believe me, they're happy. They're grateful because they don't have to do. I'm helping both ends of the spectrum.
Right. Right.
So once they get over, they're like, "What does she want? Do I gotta pay you $29.99 or something?" And it's like, "No, I just are you available right now?"
She said 29.99. Cause that, I mean, you'd be surprised how much therapists have to pay to get listed in, in directories. So yeah, it is kind of like, what you want for this?
Yep.
You getting ready to give me a,
Yep.
and they in my network and they got the same
Yes.
availability I got.
Yes.
What is
Yep.
this? What is this? So
That is
yeah,
suspicious.
yeah, it makes sense. But I'm glad that you're doing it because from both sides, as a therapist but also as someone who advocates for therapy just in general, and
Yes.
somebody who has been to therapy, like it does hit all the boxes. Like it literally helps in a world where we've got increasing pressure on all of us to do more of the things, right, in this post-pandemic craziness. It helps to know that this is one less thing to worry about. This is one less thing you gotta think about. So what made you want to do this though? Like, how do you go from just, okay, I had a hard time finding a therapist, to I'm gonna help everybody else find a therapist? Because like, just because you had a problem, everybody's not willing to kind of, you know, fall on that sword and start doing all of it, because it could
Mhm.
be a lot of legwork. What made you make that
It's a lot
that
of
leap?
legwork. It's a lot of legwork. What made me start the business was I had an influx of people asking me to help them find therapists. And I'm talking about an influx. Like my inbox was loaded with people just asking me to help them find therapists. And that's where it started. Like I told you, I was like, hey, wait a minute. Maybe I got something here. And I've never been like an entrepreneur. So it's passion driven for
Mm,
me.
mm-hmm,
So I'll do the legwork. Now there is like a minimal fee, but
mm-hmm,
it's not anything that anybody doesn't mind paying because it's
mm-hmm.
not a lot at all. And I
And it's
do
peace
that.
of mind.
Yes. And I do the legwork. So I'll get sometimes they still don't answer me. I'll harass them for you. I'll call them and leave messages. I'll do all that. Um, that's just it started with a passion. So
So where do you want to take live through it specifically? What is your vision for it?
my vision for it initially was just to find people therapists, and it keeps evolving and growing bigger than what I thought it would be when I started. So now I want to eliminate stigmas. I want to raise awareness for just mental health. I want to create something that will plug people in with therapists. I
Mm-hmm,
still want to be the bridge. I want to get people to experience what therapy really is for those people that are still hesitant.
mm-hmm,
And I'm actually like brainstorming that right now. Like, what can I do to just give people little snippets of like, hey, this is really what it is. Because we have this thing in our mind of what therapy is, and it is
Hmm.
not that. We
Yeah.
got it so messed up. And if people could just see that, then
Right.
they would be open.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think you on to something. Tell
all
me
right.
a little bit before we like transition. Tell me a little bit about this blog too that you're starting, Kingdom Wife.
Yes, it's called Dear Kingdom Wives.
Dear Kingdom
Dear
Wife.
Kingdom Wife. And I had a I had a ministry that I had started maybe in 2014, 2015, and it was called Kingdom Wives. It was just Kingdom Wives Club is what it was. And it was just a couple, just wives. We would get together and I would hold events where we would talk about different topics and different things. And I wanted to go like behind the lipstick, like
Hmm.
behind the mask of, I felt like people would tell you A and C, but nobody would tell you B. And it's like, we going through it, our marriage. It's like, I'm ready to strangle him. Like, he don't like me right now. So, like, how do we get back on the same page? But nobody
Hmm.
would tell us B. And so I wanted something where we could discuss B. You
Hmm.
know, how do we get from A to B, then C? Don't
Hmm.
tell me it's gonna be okay. Tell me how it's gonna
How
be
it's gonna be
okay.
okay. Yeah.
And so the blog is kind of a spinoff from that because I used to write to the wives. See, I was writing. I used to send emails out to the wives just to encourage. And it would be sometimes stuff that I was going through that I had overcame and I would just share. And so it'll be, the blog will be like that.
Okay.
Just pretty much snippets from my journal. So look at God. Had me journaling like that.
But it all I think it's really interesting how all of the projects that you're doing fit together because
They
you're
do.
working to really decrease stigma and really help people be their authentic selves because
Yes.
you're talking about things that we don't talk about. We don't talk about grief. We just say something like, we'll just pray about it. We'll understand it better by and by.
And we
God
ain't
makes
gonna
no
understand
mistakes.
it.
Right. We talk about all of that stuff, but we don't actually make a practice of walking alongside folks when they're going through this. And
Right.
so for like all of these projects that you have going on, I'm really excited about them just because one, because I know you. Latoya Paul says she loves and misses the email. So you already got somebody telling you to get them
Yeah.
emails together. It really is coming together because like you're putting yourself in, like you said, bridging that gap between what we openly talk about but
Yes.
what we're really going through. And I
Yes.
think it's one thing for somebody like me who's like a therapist to try and say, I think you need to go to therapy. It makes it look like I'm just, selling and marketing.
Yeah.
And when somebody who has just walked that journey, who
Yes.
just has a passion for it, who has no motive or
Yeah.
whatever behind it, just I want to see you better. I think
Yes.
it goes a lot further. And even with the Kingdom Wives, obviously, Latoya says she
Yeah.
misses those emails. So like you're having tangible impact
Yeah.
on really helping people to really heal and really, really awaken their change. Hey, see what I did there? Um, you're really helping people to walk that out. And I think that it's really amazing. So, how much time we
Yeah.
got? Okay, we had
And
24 minutes.
I got a huge passion for marriage too. So the concept behind that is just allowing my hindsight to be your 2020.
Mm.
And I want to see your marriage succeed the way God intended it to. I love being married.
My hindsight to be yours. I
Yeah.
might have to borrow that.
I'm telling you. Go
I'm
ahead,
writing.
girl.
I'm writing. I'm writing it down. I wrote that down. So we're about to just kind of wrap it up, but tell folks. I think I've got your Insta where people can
Yes.
find you, and we're also let's do it this way. Let's put
So.
let's put the book and the website up at the same time. So tell us where we can find you, what you're working on, where people can. I know you have an event coming up
Sunday.
in Louisiana.
Yes.
Doc said that's a t-shirt.
Yes. So I have my book, A Dance with Grief. It is on Amazon. You can follow me at Living Through It, at Mary G. It's Me on Instagram. The link is in my bio. You can go and order it there. Um, I have a book release coming up. I'm going to be doing some events talking about this book, talking about grief, talking about mental health. Trying to think of what else I got going on.
Tell the people where you at, lady.
Oh,
I
I'm
know
in
where
Baton
you at.
Rouge. I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Thank you.
Um, Let me see what else can I. That's all I'm working on. That's like three things.
Oh, Doc said she'll be there.
Yay, Dr. C.
So I'm mad because I can't be there, but I already got my book, so I ain't worried about it.
I was
I
so
ain't worried.
happy to hear that.
I got my book. So I'm gonna need a nice little,
Something, something.
nice little love letter in
Yes,
mine.
yes. I'm
So I can
actually
curl
signing
up
this
with it.
tonight. I got
Cause
my
you got
wine, my pen, my books, and I'll be mailing them off in the morning. Actually,
yes. Okay,
yes,
good. So you're over pre-sales. You're in your actual sales
yes,
flow. What
yes.
is your goal? What is your goal for the end of the year? How many books do you need to have or want to have by the end of the year
How
sold?
many books do I want to have sold? I haven't
Mhm.
even thought about that.
What?
As as many
No, no,
as
we need a
many as I
concrete
can.
number.
You need a number.
That's not a smart goal. Smart
Let's
goals are
see.
specific and they're measurable. What's the goal?
Let's say I don't want to shoot too low. Let's say
Ah, Latoya said
Toya
millions.
said millions. I'm gonna go with you, Toya. I'm gonna sell millions. I'm gonna be a bestseller.
There we go. We're
I'm
gonna be
gonna
a
be a
bestseller.
bestseller.
So, on my Change fam, and we're gonna rebroadcast this on Thursday because this isn't our typical night. But I'm gonna encourage all my Change fam to pick up a copy of the book. You won't be disappointed, and it's also, I think, a really good gift for anybody who is going through or has gone through any kind of grief. I gotta get her right, Doc. I gotta get her right.
Thank
She
you.
gonna be all right one of these days. She gonna be all right. Um, so I want folks to go to the website, go grab your copy of the book. I can tell you that there is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in the pages of this book because when we were together in our writing process, we all kind of let it hang out. There were three of us who went the whole distance together. Um, but this process is not one that was entered into lightly, as they say. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Mary, thank you so
Thank
much for coming
you.
on and sharing about this project with us. If you guys are not already, it looks like most of the folks who we have interacting with us tonight are joining us from YouTube. But consider liking and subscribing to the channel so that you can see when we go live. Like I said, typically this is a Thursday night thing. We're usually here every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock for y'all Central folks down in Louisiana.
Yes.
Um, but if I really appreciate those of you who are joining us today. If you have any comments or questions or things that you would like to see us cover on the show, feel free to go to the website www.awakeningchange.org. There's a contact us form where you can reach out with any suggestions for the show. And you can even pick up your copy of the book that I wrote when I was with Mary in class, Reclaiming My Time, A Black Woman's Guide to Self-Care, and find out more about all of the projects that we have going on. I'm going to continue to promote Mary's book this week. And like I
Thank
said, we'll
you.
rebroadcast this on on Thursday for those of our Change fam who weren't able to see it. But share this video with your friends and followers. Let them know about this awesome book and about how they can get it. So that is all for tonight. Like I said, thank you so much, Mary, for
Thank
joining me.
you for
Thank you
having
guys
me.
for showing up tonight. And I'll see you guys next week.
Good
All right.
night.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.